Hello and welcome. This is Borno Restoration. I am Jessie Tafida. Women constitute more than half of the world's population, yet they experience some forms of injustice and inequality in the society. The Borno state government is, however, initiating policies to show that it values women and their contributions to the state and its economy. On this episode of the program, we focus on the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development and how it is prioritizing the welfare of women and the girl child in the state. Before we bring you all this, let's bring you the latest on Borno Today. For over a decade, Borno State education system was under attack. According to the State Universal Basic Education, a total of 500 public schools were attacked and destroyed in the last 12 years. But the Zulum administration came in with a 10-packed development agenda, which revamping the education sector is part of it. Now in the second year of his second term, education remains a top priority, with 21 new projects completed across 23 local government areas. They include construction of 6 new mega schools, equipping of schools with ICT facilities, spent about 11 billion naira scholarship to over 32,000 students, and construction of housing estate for teachers.
Our administration has placed a strong emphasis on technical and vocational education and training TVC to address the challenges posed by the large number of out-of-school youths who have exceeded the convention of school age. To bridge the gap between our educational system and the labor market, ensuring our workforce is aligned with both local and international economic needs. Determined to ensure that every child in Borno State, regardless of their educational background, has access to opportunities that equip them for a brighter future.
It's not just about infrastructure. The government is also focused on the welfare of those who shape the young minds.
Borno State has consistently allocated a sizable amount in its annual budget to education, a clear demonstration of prioritizing the human capital development as a driver of progress as enshrined in our 25 years development plan. We have rebuilt schools, enrolled thousands of out-of-school children, provided scholastic materials, trained teachers, contributing significantly to our current education recovery and development.
At the grassroots, teachers are beginning to feel the difference.
For me, I am receiving minimum wage. I am on grade level 12, earning about 99,300 and something. But some of us, as a result of one thing or the other, as per the last competent test that took place about 2-3 years back.
From ashes to accolades, Borno's education story is fast evolving. And with the pace, scale and consistency of the Zulum administration's interventions, the state may just be on its way to becoming Nigeria's next educational hub. This is the new phase of Maiduguri. A city once defined by conflict is now turning heads and turning a new page. Streets that were once dusty and deserted are now bustling with movement, development and hope. Under Governor Babagana Zulum, Maiduguri is changing not just in infrastructure but in spirit. In just 2 years into his second term, the governor has delivered 3 flyovers, modern structures that have reshaped the skyline and decongested some of the city's busiest intersections.
In order to ensure that we retain the image of Maiduguri Metropolitan, we need to, upgrade the status of Maiduguri Metropolitan Council. Most importantly, Maiduguri is one of the state's most densely populated states in the northeast, and it still remains the capital of Borno State. And then the population is increasing rapidly.
The work hasn't stopped there. At Post Office Junction, one of Maiduguri's most iconic landmarks, A foot flyover is under construction. Side by side, roadworks, housing estates, and drainage networks are springing up across the city.
Infrastructure development is one of the key pillars in the 10-pact agenda of the Zulum's administration. The governor understood that improved infrastructure is very key in making environment conducive for businesses and other activities to thrive.
Zulum has transformed not only Borno or not only Maiduguri into a small London, but he has transformed the whole of the state into USA.
Governor Zulum has made it clear this is not about politics, but purpose, a mission to rebuild communities, restore dignity, and make Borno greater than it has ever been. As the city rebuilds, the people are beginning to dream again of peace, opportunity, and future filled with hope. After over a decade of relentless insurgency, Maiduguri, once the epicenter of Boko Haram attacks, is gradually finding its rhythm again. The scars of the conflict remain. Houses destroyed, families displaced, and livelihoods shattered. But through the resilience of its people and the sacrifices of security operatives, hope is returning. Governor Babagana Zulum's support to the military in form of operational logistics, equipment, and morale-boosting welfare packages is being acknowledged by both the people and the military. Theatre Commander Operation Hat-in-K Major General Abdul Salam Abubakar says the military has been recording successes against Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists.
In the last 2 months, we have been re-strategizing and reorganizing. Additional platforms and personnel are being inducted into the theater. The military is fully resolved and resourced to bring the battle to a favorable conclusion. Our troops are highly motivated and our resilience is not dampened.
Residents say life in Maiduguri is slowly returning to normal, with markets reopening and nighttime movement improving.
Today, people are traveling free from here to Bama, Goza, from here to Gamborungala, Damasak, Baga, and other things. At least before now you go to Yamaturu, you must spend about 5 hours. Before you can see a lot of roadblocks, you can see military base in different wards of the state. But today you find nothing.
The relative peace being enjoyed now has inspired hope that Borno can reclaim its lost identity as the home of peace. Yet, the journey ahead remains long, especially for those in remote villages where remnants of insurgents still operate. Residents are calling for more coordinated military efforts and sustained government intervention to consolidate the gains made. As Borno gradually rises from the ruins of war, many believe that with continued collaboration between security operatives, government and communities, the dream of a truly peaceful state is not just possible, it's within reach. In a state where security challenges have shaped daily lives for over a decade, changes at the top of the police hierarchy are always closely watched. At his first official press briefing in Maiduguri, the new Commissioner of Police, Nazir Abdul Majid, came with a clear message. He's here to listen, engage, and act.
This command under my leadership will adopt a professional, intelligence-led, and community-oriented policy approach that will address the unique security challenges facing our state. We will work relentlessly to sustain and improve the gains recorded in the fight against crime, insurgency, and other threats to public society.
CP Abdul Majid says his strategy is built on trust between the police and the public, something he believes is key to sustaining the gains made so far.
We will enhance visibility policy, strengthen cooperation with sister security agencies, and deepen our partnership with traditional institutions religious leaders, community groups, and the media. I appeal to the public for cooperation, information sharing, and mutual trust. My doors remain open to suggestions and constructive engagement.
His comment came at a time when Borno is gradually regaining peace, and many residents are optimistic that the new CP's vision could further improve public safety. Already, the command has recorded a series of breakthroughs in recent operations, from arresting suspects to disrupting criminal hideouts, efforts that the new commissioner hopes to strengthen. As CP Abdul Majid settles into his new role, residents of Borno will be watching closely, hoping his words translate to stronger action on the ground. Let's bring you the first part of the conversation I had with the Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Zuwaira Gambo, on activities of the ministry. Welcome to Borno Restoration. As the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, talk to us on why this ministry is being cardinal in the affairs of the Zulum administration.
Thank you very much, Jesse, and welcome to the Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development. Basically, as you have said, the ministry is indeed very cardinal and important in the agenda of His Excellency Professor Babagana Umar Zulum. This is so because, first and foremost, it is a ministry that deals with issues relating to women and children, and who form the majority of victims, especially in a state that is coming out of insurgency. We also have this belief here that no woman, no nation. And so for any society to progress, the women folk and the children must be well protected and included in any program of the government. Women are majority of the victims of the insurgency, especially those in the internally displaced camps. Those that are even reintegrated happen to be women. And so deliberately the administration of His Excellency set out to ensure that the welfare, the well-being, and every indicator of development is provided in the agenda. One of which is to ensure that there is adequate protection for women and children. That is why Borno State happens to be one of the states that passed the VAP law and the child protection law. These two legal instruments are very critical because they define and identify the parameters of development for this category of people. If you go through the contents of these laws, you will find out that within the VAP law, the protection of the woman against any form of violence is very critical. And having experienced the insurgency, it is very, very important and paramount that women are given the voice to speak. So in the process of giving them that voice, the Borno State government also executes economic empowerment initiatives. Because if a woman is not protected, there is no way she can be developed and economically empowered to make her own contribution to the growth of the state. Ditto for the children, because we have a lot of children that are coming out as victims of the insurgency. The law was put in place to give them that access to shelter, access to education, access to good health, access to protection, which is provided in the security architecture. So by and large, even the implementation of these two laws have summarily confirmed the commitment of this administration to the well-being of women and children. By and large, that is the mandate that the Ministry of Women Affairs is employed, or rather engaged to do. That is why there is adequate provision in the budget for educating the girl child, for providing all the needs of women. You have been part and parcel of all our activities. We have been marking the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. And in Borno State, we do that through empowerment. We started with training IDPs across the camps in the state, after which we empowered them and sent them out to go around other camps to provide them with skills. And at the end of it, the government provides them with skill acquisition kits to give them that self-independence and economic empowerment to be able to take care of their families and by large the society. Similarly, when we mark the International Women's Day, we engage in the theme for that day. Through those celebrations, we are able to break the silence. We sensitize and create awareness to women and children on the right to speak out. If you are violated, we have the legal instrument for you to seek justice through the ministry, in collaboration, of course, with other ministries and the traditional and religious leaders and the policemen, because in every police station there is a gender-based desk officer. So by and large, we are in the forefront in implementing what the governor of Borno State is doing.
Now, the 13-year insurgency has caused mayhem on a lot of people. Women and children bear the brunt of the insurgency. How has the ministry, catered the needs of these vulnerable women and children across the state?
As I said earlier on the front burner of the agenda is the economic empowerment of women. And even before that, education is very critical. That is why in all the admissions in these mega schools you see around in Maiduguri and outside Maiduguri, across the 3 senatorial zones, 60% of admission is reserved for the girl child. The same thing, very intelligent, indigent girls have been sponsored to attend schools overseas. We had so many of them that have graduated as medical doctors from Sudan. Until the crisis in Sudan, where they were moved to Egypt. So we have quite a number of our children, especially the girl child, in Sudan. We have in Egypt. We have some that are attending school in China. As recently as 6 months ago, some were sent there. So I'm emphasizing this. In every activity of government, a certain percentage is reserved for the girl child. This includes making provision for their mothers to be able to support the girl child by giving them business packages, both training and actual distribution of grinding machines, sewing machines, food vendor. I think these are economic empowerment kits that do not need too much of education. With that, you can support the government in sending the girl child to school. We have also ensured that every intervention in the state, there is a portion to include women. I'm a commissioner, we have the Attorney General, we have about 5 female permanent secretaries, we have directors of DGs, and so many, even though we are still clamoring for more, because when you look at the percentage of women, especially in the political space, we just have 1 female chairperson, not a single member of the State Assembly. So we want to raise the bar. We want to make sure that more women are carried along in the political dispensation.
Talk to us on some of the programs that you do to empower women. I know one of the Women Development Center, we have this Second Chance Center. Just bring us up to speed on this programs that you have put in place to empower them.
As you said, the Women Development Center is a one shop, one-stop center, so to speak, that has all the modern gadgets and capacities, where women are trained in various skills, including even digital communication, because we move with time. We believe that whatever skills you are imparting on your beneficiaries, they have to be skills that are needed, not just the traditional, of course, tailoring and what have you. We have the making of throw pillows. The women make a lot of money out of that. Beads making, fashion designing, and then cosmetology, the production of cosmetics, household detergents. All of these are done at the center. And at the end of the training, of course, we do this in collaboration with some of our partners. These women are empowered to go, even within the comfort of their rooms, they are able to produce these items and sell. And then we are deeply also involved in agriculture. We have a lot of women cooperative groups that we have empowered. We have a whole environment that we call the Agri Village. They collaborate with the Ministry of Women Affairs, and subsequently in the last 3-4 years, they have always taken the first spot at the National Agricultural Show. These cooperatives are 70% made up of women. And just yesterday, in collaboration with the Renewed Hope Initiative, Her Excellency, the wife of the governor, represented the wife of the president to flag off training in agriculture for women. And tomorrow, by the grace of God, these women will be distributed with farm implements. So agriculture is indeed the backbone of the economy, especially in an agrarian community like Borno State. So we are very much involved in agriculture. We are very much involved in the educational sector. We are very much involved in economic activities to enhance and uplift the average woman in Borno State.
So other aspects of your intervention, you have demonstrated passion, in uplifting the standard of living of the orphans in Borno State. Just talk to us on the inspiration behind this determination.
Well, I think because our leader is compassionate, whatever His Excellency Professor Zulum does, you can see that compassion, that feeling for the vulnerable. And by and large, the Ministry of Women Affairs has more than 70% of its staff as women. I think this is deliberate, because as mothers, we have this natural calling to listen. If you had come here earlier, you think this is a police station, because we have cases of abandoned babies, we have victims of domestic violence, we have people that have mental health issues. And so because of that innate compassion and the kind of people, most of the staff are social workers. So the number one requirement is you must be compassionate. For all of us here, the work we do is more like a calling. It's something that comes from within. And we work 24/7. There is no time limit, because you can be woken up at 1 a.m. and be informed that there is one child that has been picked along the road. There is one woman that has gone crazy as a result of frustration, and we have to attend to them. So that inbuilt feelings for the vulnerable, and of course because of the support and guidance we have from our governor and his wife, Her Excellency Dr. Falmata Babagana Omar Zulum, we are able to do these services not as a job, but as something that we are passionate about.
Talk to us on perpetrators. Are they being prosecuted, and then how well are you dealing decisively with this kind of cases to serve as deterrents to others?
When you talk about gender-based violence, in fact, it's even the gender is about both the male and female gender, because of recent we have realized that quite a number of young boys have become victims of gender-based violence. So it's no longer just talking about the women. We are working closely with the Ministry of Justice. We are working with the Federation of Women Lawyers and also the MBA with NAPTIP, and so many other civil society organizations. So usually once such incidents happen, they report to us. We prepare we first of all get the victims arrested through the security agency and then bring in the Ministry of Justice, who take up the prosecution. As of last week, I know in the last 6 months, we've had about 17 convictions of people, depending on either children, those people that are beating their wards in school, those that are pedophiles, those that have abused women. We have reported the case to the Ministry of Justice, and some have been even sent to jail, while others are still undergoing the legal process. As we do that, the victims are being rehabilitated at the Bulunkutu Rehabilitation Center, where they are given comprehensive mental health and psychosocial support. Because some of them, you can't even trace their families. And so, out of this number that I speak with you, we have about 12 that we have sent to the Mariri School for Orphans in Kano. We have about 8 at the Osinbajo school here in Maiduguri. All these are orphans. And as we are doing that, we are also trying to trace their families. But in the interim, the governor has instructed that under no circumstances, any child that is of school age in our custody should remain in the camp. So if we cannot trace their family, our caregivers serve as their parents. And this has worked effectively well for us.
Okay. Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, Zuwaira Gambo, thank you for your time, Umbono.
Thank you. It's always my pleasure.
And that's how much we can take on this week's episode of Borno Restoration. But next week, it's going to be a fresh episode. I'm Jessie Tofida. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.